Welcome to Pen and Gadget, and this is a little special reveal here. I have vintage Sheaffer Tuckaway set. I believe these are called Crest Tuckaway. With all vintage, this is from the late 1940s, like 1949. You kind of have to go down this little rabbit hole of research and matching up photos from catalogs and other collectors to what it is to kind of sort out what it is. But yeah, this is called a Tuckaway from Sheaffer. Tuckaway is because of this little tiny pocket clip here. It just sits on the edge, which is, I think, rather fitting for such a small pen. It also has the pencil. So we're going to put away this nice, lovely little case right now. This is the original case that it came in. Beautiful, beautiful case. About the size of, an eyeglasses case. But yeah, oh, look at that. Look at that color. Anyhow, put this aside here. Put that guy aside there, and we'll go on to the pen first, and then we'll hit the pencil up. So diving right in, let's go. Let's see how long this thing is capped. I forgot to mention, it's a white dot. That's important because the non-white dot versions are different, and it's a Vac-fill. That's also important because there's also a version that's called Touchdown. There's so many variations. Okay. Anyway, let's see how long this puppy is. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. 4.5 inches when capped. As you can see, this version here, let's jump up and get in close. The Crest Deluxe, I believe, is what this is. So it's Crest Deluxe Tuckaway White Dot Vac-fill Sheaffer's Tuckaway. Oh my, what a yeah. There's a lot to naming vintage pens. Anywho, as you can see here, there is unfortunately some discoloration on my gold. This is gold plated, not gold filled, this ring on the Deluxe, which is kind of weird because you would think the Deluxe model would do gold filled versus gold plated. I don't know, but that's what they did for these. So some of them have this discoloration. I polished it a bit. I could probably replate this and it'll be perfect. But I'm leaving it all original other than the light polishing that I've done. I've restored this pen. This pen was a non-functional pen when it arrived to me. So we'll get up and close and personal in here, and we see Sheaffer's made in the good old USA. And then on here, we have very nice and clear inscriptions. Sheaffer Pen Company. And then we have here this number. Now, people didn't know what this number. Some Sheaffer pens have this, some don't. This number right here, which we can see is 1500-1500. That's the price of the pen, $15. Now, some people were like, oh, it's a coding system and blah, blah, blah. And it's a coding system for the price. I've looked over a lot, and I mean a lot, of catalogs, all the original Sheaffer catalogs of purchasing them. And the numbers always coincide with the price of the pen. So when I see the price of the pen, I've located this actual pen, the color, the everything, in a catalog from like 1949. And sure enough, there was the $15 price tag. So, you can rest assured that little number, if it's on your pen, that's what it cost. That's not some kind of secret code thing or whatever. That's just what the pen cost. I don't know why they did that on some and not others, but it is there. And yeah, it just helps to also authenticate the pen a little bit further, knowing, oh, that's the price of the pen. And I was looking through the catalog, and I was like, oh, yeah, maybe the catalog, scan that I was looking at was maybe a little cruddy, and I couldn't really tell. But it would help me, line up and identify, oh, yeah, this is $15, so this is $15. And it's one more reassuring thing that, yeah, this is the right pen. Let's uncap this thing. I'm talking too much. This has the lovely 14 karat gold. It's called the Triumph nib, I believe, because look at this thing. It goes all the way around. There's not a lot of pens in this day and age that do that. So this is technically like a cylinder of a nib, all 14 karat gold. The two-tone at that, which is nice to take a look at here. Some of these nibs have a serial number written, and that I believe is eliminated later on. I think the earlier versions, I have a couple of vintage Sheaffer pens in here. There's a bunch, so I have a problem. But yeah, this one doesn't have that. But anywho, let's go through what this pen has feature set wise. This is in the deluxe edition. However, this is not as flashy. They're pens that have these striations, which I think are absolutely gorgeous, and most of my vintage pens have these. I'll show you real quick what they look like up close. But there's a real 3D iridescence to them. You can't really tell on camera, but they have a depth to them. Unfortunately, this is just a flat colored pen. I have another one, and I'll take it out and I'll show you guys. But I have a mostly identical version of this. But in that, yeah, I'm a collector. It's a problem. This is a white dot, which I maybe forgot to mention as well. Which they're long titles: crest, blah 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 blah, blah white dot, or tuckaway, this and that. Anywho, comes in this lovely blue. The details, if I can get right up in here, are nice and crisp and clean. There's no teeth marks. A lot of these pens, when you buy them, people tend to put this end in their mouth and bite down and chew, and nervous ticks and things some people have. And so to get one that's really, really pristine like this, where this has never been polished, and you know how I know it's never been polished, because look how crisp and clean the edges are of this cut here. In fact, they're sharp. That would have gotten smoothed off a bit. And also these ridges would have gotten smooth off. These are very, very, very sharp edged, and all of the inscription. So this has never been polished, and I'm not gonna really polish it. I'm gonna clean it nicely, but I'm not gonna do any kind of polishing. I'm gonna leave it as original as I can. There's an ink window. It's kind of hard to see on the camera because the lighting's coming from above and not from behind. But this section here is actually see-through. And that's an ink window. You can kind of see it. Maybe, yeah. You can see there's a little bit of different color down there. Yeah, that's the ink window. This is a Vac-fill. So this blind cap here, you unscrew it, and there's a plunger, and you pull it out. You dip it in the ink, and then you push the plunger down. And what it does is it creates a vacuum in this tube here. You know what? We'll take one out. Well, let's cap this guy so it doesn't dry out on me. We'll take one out that's in the beginning stages of me restoring it. Let's see if I can find it. I don't know where I actually put it. Did I lose a pen? I might have lost a pen. Hold on here. Where is it? Come out. Hello? I found it. Hold on. Okay. So, yeah, this crusty old thing, this is getting restored too. I will use this as a demonstration of how they're built. I'll take this guy out here. So I'm in the middle of restoring this one. This is the plunger. And so this is inside. You pull this out. And what it does is in the tube, this is all hollow. I removed everything. There's a section, if you can tell, see how it's smooth all the way up, and then it gets dark towards the end here. There's that dark spot in like this area. The tube is perfectly cylindrical. You know what? I should draw this. Let's use the pen to draw it. That's a good idea. Okay, we're gonna get this out here. Oh my God, everything's flying around everywhere. So, inside this pen, let's zoom on in. Inside the pen, we have this tube, okay? But there's a spot where it gets bigger, right here. before it gets into the nib section, which then comes out this way. So this is the front. This is where the nib would be. Okay. The plunger, okay, goes down until this spot. So what happens is you push the plunger down and it creates a vacuum here. So this is where the vacuum is. Hold on, let me get this all aligned here. This is where the vacuum is being created, because as this plunger goes down, it's sucking and creating the vacuum. But once it breaches in this area over here, okay, once it gets to this point, the plunger breaks through and now has a gap on either side. So the rush of the break of the vacuum sucks the ink up through the nib and gets sucked up in through here, and it flows around the plunger that has now a gap around it and fills up this tube. So once where there was a vacuum, now the ink flows in. That's why a lot of people have problems with these pens when they get them, and they don't know why it's not filling, and they're pulling the plunger, and then they're like, wait a second, now the plunger's out, and then I'm going to push it in, and then the ink's going to come out. So what they're doing is they're dipping it in the ink, and then they're pulling the plunger out, and then they're taking the pen out of the ink, and then they're putting the plunger down, and it squirts the ink out. Well, no, you pull the plunger out first, dunk it in the ink, then you push the plunger back down to its closed position, and then that's the plunger being in the closed position with the gaps down there, and everything flows over. So that's how these pens work, and I hope that clears up some misconceptions of how vac fillers work, because a lot of people don't understand that when they're trying to fill their pen, it's not like a syringe where, you know, they're pulling it to suck it up. That will suck it up too, because it's creating a vacuum in the other direction as well, right? So it does work in both ways, but not as good as it does this way by design, because of that lip that's slightly bigger. So yeah, that's how these pens actually work. So with that said, look, we did a little drawing here, horrible drawing because I'm looking through the camera. It's very hard to draw and write. I severely underestimated when I started this channel how it was going to be to draw or write through camera. So I've opted not to write at all, because I have not so great handwriting in the first place, and I when I get into pens, I do it for drawing. So I draw, but drawing through the camera, it's so difficult. There's this disconnect of reality, and it's like, anywho. So with that said, this is the Triumph nib in the Tuckaway. It is beautiful. I mean, it is so silky smooth. And yeah, it's on, I believe this is about a fine. Their nibs, they have a little swoop up. Let's jump over here. The nib, if you can tell, some people also, when they get them, they think that the nib is bent. See that in the reflection here? Let's get it really up in there. Okay. See how it swoops up? It's kind of like that. It's got a little swoop up. Some people think that that's a problem. It's not. That's by design. That's how they're made. It actually helps with writing, you know, with your angle. It's very comfortable. There's not a lot of nibs out there like that. But it's so smooth. Whoops. See, I'm looking, and I'm not looking at the pen, the paper. It's so smooth when you're writing. It just feels fantastic. Let's see. Does it write upside down? Yeah, it does. It writes upside down in an extra fine. So look at that. You've got a fine and an extra fine. And it's not scratchy at all. I mean, this is super, super nice. I mean, I could draw a nice detail with this little guy upside down. I could use this pen fully upside down, I believe. And then again, you know, to make something a little bit thicker. yeah, it really does lend itself to drawing. These pens, they're really great for drawing. They have such a great feel to them. And again, beautiful. I did polish the nib because a lot of these nibs, they show up with a lot of tarnish, but they're 14 karat gold. So just a little hit with a jeweler's cloth and they shine up like brand new. So they're beautiful, beautiful. This is an interruption. I forgot to mention something about restoration. These pens are not for the faint of heart to restore. They are the most difficult things to just disassemble. This section, let me get up close here. This section, okay, there's a section, there's the nib, there's the feed, and then there's another part that goes inside the section, this carrier, that is screwed in, and they shellacked or glued them in. In fact, I believe it was almost a solvent. I'm not 100% sure, but the bottom line is to remove the nib, you need a special tool that is like $160 or almost $200 to get this section apart. It's very, 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 very difficult to do, especially without marking this thing up. You have to be very careful. You have to use heat in a very specific area. You have to place that heat right there where the glue is. You have to keep trying and trying. Some people soak it and then do heat and do cycles of it. It is a bear, and if you don't have the tool, you basically cannot do it. It's more or less impossible to do. With that said, I have done it, and I've done these. I've actually done it to where I don't remove that part, and if I'm lucky, there's in the back here. I can't open it up, but in the blind cap, there's this piece that holds what will be O-rings when you put them in there. But it's a packing, it's a unit. And that unit is packed with stuff that keeps the water tightness in it. Sometimes that's loose, and you can actually go from the back and just pull that out. And then you can get out everything else. And then all you have to do is unscrew. This nib will unscrew. And come off that little retainer, and then you can just pull it out, and then you can clean straight through without having to remove it. I just wanted to put that note in here because when I say I'm restoring these, this is not one of the ones I recommend for you to restore on your own. This is a bear of a job. If you know what you're doing, it's still a bear of a job. If you've never done it before, I would highly avoid it unless it's a pen that's already broken. You know, something else is wrong with it down here or whatnot, and you just want to get one for really cheap, you know, maybe a $15 broken pen, you know, bargain deal, and you just want to maybe get an extra nib out of it, then I would attempt it with one of those. But yeah, don't attempt to work on one of these yourself. If you've never done so before and it's a pen you want to keep, you will likely break it your first time around. You might get lucky and you won't, but yeah, I just wanted to touch base on that. Okay, back to whatever the heck I was rambling on about. This is a long video, I'm sorry. So let's move on. Let's get this capped so it doesn't dry out here, and we're gonna move on. Get out of my way. We're gonna move on here to the pencil. Now, actually, let me put this guy to bed just to show you the parts here. There's more parts to this pen that you don't see here, but this is a lovely tuckaway as well. This is a rarer version of that pen, but that's going to get restored, and I'll do an episode on that when it's done. There's a little extra something about that pen in there. Anywho, moving on to the pencil. Now the pencil. How this is not mint, unfortunately, that one little problem with the gold. I might gold plate it. I might fix it by gold plating it. But it is all original, so that is very nice, and it's a white dot, so it's a little bit more worth the restoration. This is the pencil from the set. Now, this is also all original and in perfect condition. I mean, it's got some dust on it because I'm renovating my house, and dust gets everywhere when you sand wood floors. 100-year-old wood floors, sanding them. Doing it yourself is not fun. Anywho, so this is by the same name, Tuckaway Deluxe Crest, a bunch of things. I'll put it in the description. But yeah, this also has, let's get all the way up in here. It also has the information. There is a code that I'm not aware of yet. This, you see that SA? I don't actually know what the SA stands for. But yeah, this is one of those pens. And then there you go. There's the price. $500, so that's $5 back in the late 40s. But yeah, this is just gorgeous. And the way these work it's a twist action. So when you twist in one direction or the other, the lead, I think I'm actually sucking the lead in. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So that's the lead right there. The way it works is you don't fill it from the back like a lot of modern pens. You would put it in the back and it feeds through. The way this worked is you feed it through the top, so the top comes off. I'll show you how this works here. I'm going to eject this, and you're going to see how this works. And you're like, eject? What do you mean? Here, I'll show you. Oh, there it goes. It shot out. You see this here? Let's see. Oh, it's going to be so hard to do with just two hands. Okay, there we go. See how that little thing is popping out there? That's the little ejector. So let's see. Can we do it? There we go. So there's a little ring there, and you see that little ejector? It comes out through it. That pushes the lead out to eject it so it doesn't stay stuck in there. And then that sleeve will go in. See, oh, there it goes. So the sleeve comes forward and it comes back in and grabs. So that grabs the lead. So when you put the lead in there, this is a little difficult to do. Oh my. Doing it on camera is so much more difficult. Fit the lead in there if you got the right size lead. Oh my. There we go, baby. No. This might be too difficult for me to do on camera. We're going to try. Everybody's rooting for me. Okay, come on. We can do it. I'm looking through the camera. Okay, we're going to balance it just like that. And we're going to turn it. I don't remember which way to turn it. Yep, there we go. Okay, grabbed it. Okay, I feel now that it's grabbed it. And now I can twist. And there we go. Now it's inside. And I can put this on. Now, I don't think you actually have to take this off. I just do it so I could demonstrate it to you. But yeah, now it works just fine. Oh, you see it didn't grab? You see how it stayed out? I didn't put it in the grabber. All right. So that's a lesson to you guys too, is that there's a grabber that it has to go in. Otherwise, you can't move it up and down. Anywho, rambling on here. Yeah, this is a nice thing to have with the set, because a lot of people needed to use pencil for certain forms. There were pencil only, and this was useful to have as a set. I think if you're gonna collect the set if you can. It's usually the case. Oh, I didn't even show you the other party tricks this thing does. Let's pull it apart. Oh my God, here we go. So it's got an eraser. So yeah, you can erase by pulling the cap off, and there you go. Beautiful little design here, and this eraser comes out. It's got a little holder. Okay, you put it in there, and then your extra lead goes in there, and so that's just a little extra lead holder. They don't filter through. We'll put this back together here. Oh my, such tiny things looking through tiny screens. So yeah, that's how these pencils are, and then they're just friction fit on here, and then yeah, that's how we get that pencil action working. Anywho, I've rambled on enough on this one, but I wanted to show you these pencils. I love collecting these pencils, and I have some extremely rare pencils coming up in other episodes. Now, I don't know which order you're watching this, and you might have seen that other one already. But yeah, in actual time in the world, that's coming up soon. But yeah, I have another set in the striation, the brown striation one. Again, that's also gorgeous, but I particularly like this one just because it is so minty and so nice, and such perfect condition that it makes the set really, really lovely to have. And again, this pen, it's small. I mean, let's look at it size-wise before we go. Unposted. Whoops. There we go. So yeah, it's under 4 inches. It's 3.85 inches, right? Very small. And then the pencil as well is just about the same. It's actually a little bit longer. But yeah, these are small pocket pens, and I'm a pocket pen guy. So this scratches that itch for me. It gets the pocket pen thing going. And I don't know, I can gush on about some of these pens because they, to me, are just gorgeous. And I do love, one of my favorite color combinations in the world is blue and gold. I love that. And to have the silver, gold, black, gold, blue, and then to top it off, then you do this, and then you have the silver, the gold, the blue. I believe that is beautiful. I absolutely adore that particular kind of combination. Not to take anything away from some of the other pens that I have, and I have some rare versions of these pens too that are different colors. But in particular, I do really enjoy the blue, even though it's not the striation. They didn't make a blue striation. That would have been cool. That would have been wild. But at any rate, yeah, I love it. It's tiny. It's very small. I write with it unposted. You can do that, but this is metal, and it's kind of sharp metal, and this is soft resin / plastic. You know what? I gotta look this up. I think this is a resin. I don't think this is a plastic. But at any rate, yeah, I'm not doing that because the first time I do it, it might be fine, but doing it over and over and over again, you're going to get those marks there, and not for me. I will write with it unposted. Anywho, yeah, this is my latest restoration, is this little tuckaway, this deluxe tuckaway set, and in this beautiful case. Let's put it to bed, if you will. There we go. That's nice. We'll move this in there, and I'll fix this later. It's too hard to do on camera. Anyway, that's been a long video. This has been Pen and Gadget. I'm the Pen and Gadget geek. I know sometimes I don't say that. Saying sayonara.